I'm like, why is there such a gap between poor and rich? I can't stand seeing, you know, like that difference in it's a price that we all pay, that we have to live with each other that way, right? Like, why is the government not doing anything about this, you know? And I mean, there's so much we can complain.
Please subscribe and turn on your notifications to stay tuned to the latest updates at the Powder Room Talk.
Because we have gone through that journey of acceptance, we learn how to be gentle on others. So when we see, you know, it's very natural, like we want to lift someone up, but how do we do that without actually giving away? Like you said, giving away. The more you give, the more you share, the more you gain, but that requires that first step or that willingness to want to do that. There is a personal cost. And sometimes everything sounds wonderful until someone realizes like, oh, there is a price. Am I willing to pay that price, right? I still remember there was that one time, many years ago, I was still working in the family business. Mm-hmm. I just happened to walk past my mother was having a meeting with, I think it was one of the business partners, right? And I was just walking past, heading back to my room, and then I overheard the conversation where he is, he was just saying, oh, JJ always looks very tired. And then, because my mother's English is not very good, so to that, she replied very simply, and she's like, she spends too much time helping other people, always forget to rest. But the tone that my mother said it in made me take a step back, because mothers know best, right? And it made me think about like, oh, was that my mom giving me a compliment, or is that something I should be concerned about? So I actually had to, I went back to my room, I sat there, and I was like trying to digest that comment, and I had to actually deep dive and ask myself, actually, what was my intention? And real reason. But then I had to ask myself, like, okay, this price that I have been paying, where is it coming from? Why am I actually putting myself out there to help someone? And when I really asked myself that $1 million question, is this a price you're willing to keep paying, JJ? And it was a yes. And so, like, despite all the hurdles or comments or reasons, I kept going, because I guess it was also like what Santi said, like, like when you give, it gave me joy, and I guess that's how it made me happy, right? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think because that's a lot. That's one thing that sometimes when I got really tired, also because you keep on giving, you felt like, when am I gonna get anything from this, right? But I always go back to the why I started this. It's like always going back to the why, not to the what.
Yes.
That we sometimes forget about the why, and we just focus on the what and the how, right? So that always gives me the fuel to bounce back. You just have to really have a really deep understanding why you're doing these certain things, because sometimes we just get lost in the middle of it, because a lot of things going on, things can go wrong.
Your focus.
We're focused just like
so many
go
things,
out of whack, right? So what you need to do is just be centered with yourself and ask yourself again, why did you even do this in the first place? Why?
I find this perspective really interesting, because Regina was asking what's holding us back, right? So it would be the price you pay, right? But I think for many people, it's not even about that. It's about actually thinking, who am I to do anything, right? Or we see so many issues around us, and I mean, we can complain about so many things. I'm like, oh, the infrastructure here is so bad, I mean, or I don't like the way, like that the craftsman cannot get the design right in Indonesia. There's nothing interesting. I mean, like this is just an example, like
or like the disparity we see in the income in the poor and the rich.
I'm like, why is there such a gap between poor and rich? I can't stand seeing, like that difference and it's a price that we all pay, that we have to live with each other that way, right? Like, why is the government not doing anything about this, And I mean, there's so much we can complain. And then also, but if we would actually find ourselves in a position actually asking ourselves, what is it that I can do? Sometimes it would look so big and so unachievable.
Yeah, so daunting,
I don't think I can do that. I'm not capable of that, right? And we see something so big, and even though I think changes can happen like daily in daily steps and in really small things, like and I see that's what I see here. Like you, for example, you probably go in Fred Heli, right? You source all these beautiful products and you kind of get the best out of the craftsmanship, right? So it's one product at a time that you work on, and it's one craftsman that you like with your collaboration improve. Yeah, you get the excellence out of them and probably put a feeling of pride into their craft, into them, right? And that's not something that happens. It's not something really big, but those little things that you do consistently, and it's like kind of it's become your mindset. It's become what you just do. Yeah. Then it suddenly looks much more achievable, right? And I think so. Yeah, I think sometimes it just looks too big for us, or we think we have to do it all by ourselves and don't see that other people are also working on improving
That's why
things.
it's very important to surround yourself with people who can lift you up. I think that is very important. Like one was saying, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Because that is so true. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future, because you're the people that you surround yourself with is either bring you down or bring you up at that one point, because we can never going further alone. We need people to help us. But then what's holding us back, I like when you said it's not even thinking about the price that we have to pay, it's even thinking about, do I have enough to make the change? Am I enough? Am I good enough? What if I do this and I fail? What will people say about me? I've already talked about such a big dream and I never achieved my dream. What people are going to say about me? Or maybe, I'm just a mom, or I'm just a staff in the office. What can I do? So what I'm start to think sometimes is, you don't have to think big when you want to make the change. You can make a change at your home. It's as simple as that. You can make the change in yourself. Because like you said, the start of everything is the acceptance of yourself. If you don't want to change yourself, you can never change the world, or you can never change others. Like Michael Jackson always say, the man in the mirror. If you want to do something, you look at the man in the mirror. That's where the change is supposed to start.
Wow.
Right? You need to look inside you. Yes, you have purpose. Yes. I think big, but then I can do small. For example, you can actually chip in some monies every month to support some children studying in those villages. It doesn't take it doesn't take a big step for you to build an organization, non-profits, or so on and so forth. You can start small.
With like the extra
helping, for example,
150,000 per month that you actually donate to something like that.
Mates' children.
Yes, correct.
Like my dad used to help all the drivers' children. He paid all the tuition fee. That's how I learned that you can make a change in someone else's life. The saying they say, for one person, you can be the world for that.
But
person.
It's research. Like she was saying, like you don't. You don't have to be that someone for everyone. It could just start with one soul. And I really love how
for that soul, you are their everything.
You're their everything. You're that one thing, and you actually change one life. And usually sometimes it's that one, sometimes that one life that we touch, you never know is going to be that
probably
next
one day
big
that person
thing.
is the president.
Who knows, right? I mean, how do you know what impact it has? If, for example, let's use the helper example, right? Because in Indonesia, we tend to have helpers because labor is so cheap.
Yes.
And it's too cheap. Honestly, it's too cheap. Do you know what difference it makes if you pay a fair wage to your helper? We don't actually know, but maybe their children don't have a problem going to school, right? And then, maybe they can actually afford going to university after finishing school. And all these contributions that we make by just paying a fair wage in our household, that can really make the change to someone studying, being capable of, bringing better education into this country. It has so many repercussions, right?
Not only that, I think it will be the change of their attitudes towards things. They will feel appreciated.
Yeah.
That is a very big, things that they can change. Like they feel that you really appreciate their effort, and not only because of only the money amount, because that's the kind of feel that a lot like human
a seed
need
of
to have.
kindness
Yes.
that you put
Right.
inside them, right?
Right, and maybe it will inspire them to do so also for other person. So,
And that domino.
right, the domino effect.
Of our small actions, basically.
Right.
You just never know.
Yeah.
That's my motto sometimes. You know, when you do good for other people, you just never know what can
You
happen.
shouldn't think like
You
that.
shouldn't think like, okay,
what's
what
my
can-
self-benefit,
What's
right?
benefit if I
Yeah.
help? But you never know. It may not be on this generation.
It could be the next.
It could be on the
exactly.
next generation. So I admire
What
moms.
world?
Yeah.
And I do think about that. What world will my children live in, right? And the seeds that I sow with the change that I bring in my small scope that I'm capable of, or that I can see and that I'm that I'm supported with, then it will shape the place, the world that my children are going to live in. And that matters. It matters for them. It might not matter for me now, but it will have an effect on them.
Yeah, and I also think like, what's holding you back because you're so afraid to try new things, you're so afraid to achieving your dreams, but actually we all have the purpose inside of us. And don't think of something too big when we talk about how to be the change, and you think that, okay, I have to improve myself. Yes, that's true, and I have to have a lot of money to make the change. No, it's not. The change can be in your community, the change can be in your family. You can have the whole money in the world, you can have a big organization, but if you don't bring impact to your family, I think that is sad, because your family can never benefit out of it.
Actually, I like that point because so there is this wonderful quote that I read the other day, and it's by, so he's a regional UNICEF ambassador and a Korean superstar. So his name is Choi Si-won, and it's somebody that I have a lot of admiration for. And he said this quote, right? Like, it is good for us to create a better world, right? But it is more important to have better children for the world. And when I read that quote, as a woman, it really struck a chord inside of me, because I'm thinking like, wow, we women, we are natural born nurturers, right? And what we choose to shape children will determine the kind of people that they are, and then the kind of people that they are going to determine, like you said, the seed that we plant today as women. Like you said, even that seed of kindness for our helper, that kind of choices that we women make collectively is going to impact the next generation. Us planting that seed, paying a fair wage, would allow us to, have better children, and better children means better people, and then better people create a better world.